Now we're entering a recession.
We have some bumpy times ahead.
To put U.S. in some kind of recession 6-9 months from now.
Recession in the second half of this year going into 2024.
Going to have a recession. In fact, it's going to be a severe one, but inflation is going to get worse.
The U.S., however, we think is probably likely headed to a recession.
Brace yourselves as we are entering into the recession. From JP Morgan to Goldman Sachs to different renowned economists and investors, all are anticipating the recession. However, the Feds are saying otherwise while diverting the nation's attention through their recent mediocre act of Alien Project. Seriously, we expect better from you. Biden administration seems to be non-serious and facing a really hard time in the Congress and in the media, and quite frankly, for all the right reasons. I mean, they have been blatantly ignoring the fact that recession is real. Just take a look at this.
Interest rates were 1%, while right now they are 3.5% for 10-year Treasury. So the market value of those assets is also down. People have estimated, therefore, the overall losses for the U.S. banking system for the rise in interest rates, both on securities and loans.
So we think that the U.S. economy today, on several fronts, is actually still quite resilient. For example, the labor market is still very strong. Household savings today still being artificially...
Now you have to look at the range of outcomes. It can go from very mild to quite hard, and a lot will rely on what happens to this war. So I think to guess is hard. Be prepared, but the one guarantee, which we've been consistent about, is volatile market.
Between a 10 and 15% correction from here, and that's taking into consideration that we think the PE multiples have gotten way too stretched here. The earnings expectations for 2024 we think are too stretched given our expectation for what the economy is going to look like. So we think we could get at least 10-15% correction from here.
They are in denial, aren't they? But all the economists, financial corporations, and investors are saying otherwise to an extent that they are not even considering investing in the US economy right now. Now, speaking of investing, stick till the end of this video and I'll tell you about the hot market for investment at the moment, where investors are moving their money and you should also consider it. To understand the context, you need to know what's happening in the US. The Fed is increasing interest rates, which in result is slowing down the economic growth. It's just optics, nothing gonna change the fact that a recession is upon us. But you might also be thinking, hey, things are not as bad as we thought. It is because the stimulus checks are still in circulation and the people still have those savings. And once that wipes out, you can only pray for survival, or you can use whatever you got and invest it wisely. Learn about investment and economy. We are making more and more informational content for you and will continue to do so. Now let's start with the banks. How banks are feeling the impact of economic tightening.
Interest rates were 1%, while right now they are 3.5% for 10-year Treasury. So the market value of those assets is also down. People have estimated, therefore, the overall losses for the U.S. banking system for the rise in interest rates, both on securities and loans.
Can you hear that? No? That's because the banks are still falling and haven't thrashed onto the ground yet. Loss of $1.8 trillion. Geez, that's surely gonna hurt, and sooner or later, we all are gonna feel that pain too.